style. So I'm doing a wash and go. And this story is about the time that I got deathly sick in Egypt. Okay, so about 3 years ago, my boyfriend and I went to Egypt for his birthday. And it was a 14-day trip. Yeah, it was like a 14-day trip. And it was really great. Like, when we got there, we had a tour guide, and we got to see all the great monuments. We were in Cairo. We went to Cairo. We went to all the Christian monasteries and some of the Muslim temples, and we went to the Museum of Antiquities, and then we traveled to Luxor, and we also traveled to Aswan. And when I think we were in Luxor, we went to the Temple of Horus, or we were at the Temple of Horus, and it was a tour. We were the only ones there because it was right after the Egyptian Revolution, and so there weren't like a lot of people there because people were like super scared to come to Egypt because they were like saying that it wasn't a good place to go because of terrorist attacks and whatnot, but whatever. So we were like pretty much the only one in the temple, and it was a good day. It was like probably day 4 or 5. I think it might have been day 5 of our trip. Actually, I don't remember what day it was, to be honest. I think maybe it was day 6. Whatever. It was like halfway through our trip, pretty much. And we were taking a cruise boat from, I think, Aswan to Luxor, or Luxor to Aswan, whichever is the lowest. It was the lowest going back up to, we were working our way back up to Cairo. So what we did, we started in Cairo, we flew down to the bottom of Egypt, and then we took a boat on the Nile all the way up back to Cairo. So we went to our boat room, and we were gonna take a nap before our next tour for the day. So I took a nap, and I woke up and I felt really, really cold. Mind you, Egypt is hot, blazing dry heat. I felt super cold, and I felt like I was catching a cold. Like, you know how when you like are getting sick, you like kind of get the chills, and next thing you know, I realized I had to go to the bathroom. Now this might be TMI for some of you guys, but basically I had really, really bad diarrhea. And I was like, oh shoot, like I must have eaten something. So I told Blake, like, oh, I think I ate something because I have really bad diarrhea and I feel kind of like sick. And he was like, oh dang, like that's crazy or whatever. So we were gonna go to dinner, and I wasn't hungry. I didn't really want to eat or anything. So he just brought me back some hot tea, and I don't remember what I ate, but I kind of ate very lightly because I did not feel good. My stomach was hurting. I was getting up to go to the bathroom like every like hour at the time. And I was just like, oh, I don't feel good. Like, so Blake told our tour guide we're gonna skip this tour, you know, for the day because I don't, you know, Pierre doesn't feel well. And he was like, okay. I mean, he still got paid or whatever because we already paid the tour guide like prior to the trip. So he was like, okay, like no problem. He thought like I was like on my period. He's like, oh, you know how women get, you know, they get their monthly thing. And he's like, no, like she doesn't feel well. So I went to sleep. The next day I felt worse. I was like super sick and not feeling well, had the chills, was getting hot, getting cold. I felt my stomach was hurting. There was a lot of pain in my stomach. I was going to the bathroom like every 30 minutes to poop. And it was crazy because like honestly, if you were in the other room and you heard me pooping, sorry, this sounds really disgusting, but that's just what happened. You would think I was peeing. That like I pretty much was pooping water. Like it was so gross. And after a while, like from going to the bathroom so much, my butt started to hurt. This sounds so crazy, like sharing to you guys, because I know it's definitely TMI, but I mean, that's what happened. So I was like so sick, and I was like, oh my God, I don't feel good at all, like whatever. And we were approaching, that night was like our last night on the cruise boat, and there was like a buffet, like our last night buffet or whatever. And I was like, I really don't even want to eat anything. And I felt so I lost a lot of weight on that, like from being sick. I lost a lot of weight. Blake was like, you have to eat something, like you haven't eaten anything in like 2 days, like you have to eat something. Like I could not eat, and anytime I did eat, I threw it up. So I was just like, I can't eat anything. Like I only wanted to eat like crackers and tea, maybe some fruit. But honestly, when you go overseas, you're not supposed to eat like certain things. Like you're not supposed to eat salad, or like fruit that you can't like peel, because obviously the water there, your body's not used to it. Also, it might be contaminated, and you will get sick. You will catch a bug, and that is what happened to me. So we try to speculate what it was, and I think it was because I brushed my teeth with the sink water. I was brushing my teeth with like bottled water the entire time, and then I saw that Blake was brushing his teeth with sink water, and I was like, oh, okay, and he wasn't getting sick, so I was like, oh, maybe it's not that bad. Apparently I have a different immune system from him, because I got really, really, really sick. So then we left our boat ride or whatever. We left our boat ride, and we left our boat ride, and we had to take a flight back to Cairo from Aswan or from Luxor, I forget, but we had to take a flight back to Cairo. And I was so scared to take the flight because I was afraid that I was gonna throw up on the plane or have to poop on the plane or whatever. And the ride, I think it was like an hour ride. So what I did was I just made sure I went to the bathroom in the airport before we got on the plane, and then I just hoped for the best. So that plane ride was like the worst plane ride ever, because our pilot thought it was funny. It was like Egypt Air to just rock the plane. I felt like I was in one of those like homemade airplanes that people have licenses, like personal licenses for, and fly their planes around. I want to do all these tricks and stuff, and that's literally what the pilot was doing. It was so scary. Like we were so scared. We were like holding each other's hand like, oh my god, we're about to die. So whatever, we landed and we got back to Cairo, and Blake told at this point it was day 4 of me being sick, and I was super sick. Like I thought I had a fever. I like could not eat anything. I barely could drink anything at this point. I had the chills. I was like crying because I was in a lot of pain. My stomach was like really irritated, because I was hungry, but also because I like had a bug, and I was like going to the bathroom so much, and I was throwing up. And Blake was like starting to get worried, and my mom was starting to get worried. Like I told my mom, like, I think I'm dying. Like I'm gonna die in Egypt because I am so sick. Like I do not feel good at all. Felt like I had some crazy flu. And Blake was like, that's it. Because he had asked me at the beginning of the trip, like, at the beginning of me being sick, do you want to call the doctor? And I was like, what? No. Like, I'm not the type of person to like really get sick like that. Like, I don't get sick like that. So for me, it was kind of like a doctor. Like, what? Like, I don't even remember the last time I threw up because I was sick. Like, the last time I threw up because I was sick from like an illness was when I like in the 8th grade, to be honest. Like seriously, because I don't get sick like that. So I was like, what? No. But by the 4th day, I was so delirious, so dehydrated, so sick, tired, hungry, fatigued, hurting. I was just like, okay, go ahead, I need a doctor. Like I really need a doctor. So Blake went downstairs and told our tour guide, like, she needs a doctor. She's really sick. And so they called the doctor, and the doctor came. Well, the doctor was taking forever because you had to give the doctor cash. And so Blake had to go get to the ATM to get cash. And then something was going on with the doctor. I can't remember exactly. Hey, babe. So Blake was freaking out, like, I need a doctor, my girlfriend's sick. Well, when we were there, he was calling me his wife because, like, the Egyptians are very, like, funny about women sleeping with men if they're not married. I mean, you're a tourist, so they don't care about tourists or whatever, but if you're dating someone, you cannot sleep in the same room with them. So whatever, he was calling me his wife, and he's like, my wife's sick, like, you know, she needs help, like, you need to, like, hurry up and get a doctor. So they were like, oh, we have a in-house hotel doctor, we'll call him. He's like, I need him to come like ASAP. So the doctor came, and I'm in the bed like crying, like, oh my god, I'm dying. And Blake was like, all right. So the doctor came and like took my temperature and did all my vitals or whatever, and he was like, oh, okay, yes, she definitely has I had some type of bacteria, or like I had some type of bacteria or something inside me, probably from eating or drinking the water or whatever. So the doctor said I'm gonna medicate her and give her some medication for her to take or whatever. So he said, I need you to turn around and I'm gonna give you a shot. I'm like, where? He's like, he was about to give me he had to give me the shot in my butt. And I was like, no, please don't give me this shot in my butt. Like, I really don't want to get shot in my butt. Like, please don't. And he was just like, I mean, this is how I'm gonna get the shot. He's like, so Blake was like, Pierre, you just gotta do it. Like, you just gotta do it. So I was like, oh my god. So the doctor loaded up his shot or whatever. And I was just like, oh my god. And I think I was holding Blake's hand. And so he put the shot into my butt, not like my butthole, but like my butt muscle. And it hurt like shit. Oh my god, it hurt so bad. And I was just like, I screamed, and then I started crying. I was like, oh, I literally just started boo-hooing. And Blake was just looking at me like, oh my god, like, oh my, is she okay? Oh, before the doctor came, so he was like, why don't you take a cold bath? Because I was like burning up. And he's like, maybe I'll cool you down. So I took a cool bath, and it was like really hard to get into because I hate being cold. But it did help bring down my temperature a bit. So I was like, okay, this is better. Like, I feel better. I think I'm okay. And he was like, all right, good. So I took a nap. I woke up, my fever was back. And it was like worse. And I was like, oh my god, no, like I feel crazy. Like, I legit need a doctor. Like, I feel crazy right now. Like, I need a doctor. And that's when the doctor came and all that, and then he gave me the shot in my butt. And so then after that he gave me a prescription. Blake paid the money it costs for the doctor. It wasn't that expensive, I don't think. I think it was like, in American dollars, I think it was like $60 or something for like a doctor's visit. That wasn't that bad. I mean, considering in America, something like that probably would have cost like $400. So yeah, it wasn't terrible. But anyway, so as soon as he gave me the shot, like a few hours later, I instantly started to feel like a lot better. But I was like, all right, I'm gonna just go to sleep, and hopefully by the time like I wake up, I'm feeling like back to normal. So the next day was literally the last day of our trip, and we were supposed to go to the pyramids of Giza that day. And our tour guide, I was like, I don't feel good, like I don't want to go. I really didn't even want to do anything else like the rest of the trip. And what sucked is that like that was supposed to be my boyfriend's trip for his birthday, and I felt so bad about it because I had planned the entire trip, and I really wanted. There were so many things that we missed. Like we missed 3 or 4 days of activities because I was sick, and I wanted him to go on his own. I was like, just go on your own. Like, I really want you to just enjoy yourself. And he's like, I'm not leaving you. Like, you're sick. Like, I'm not leaving you. So he didn't leave me, but the last day, our tour guide was like, this is a really important day. Like, it's the pyramids of Giza, you know, we'll take it easy. Like, you know, if you feel sick, we'll bring you back home. Because our hotel was like literally across the street from the pyramids. So you could literally see the pyramids from our hotel room. So I was like, all right, like I'll suck it up for the day and we'll go. So we started off at a temple first. And actually, I'm getting some of the stories a little mixed up, but whatever. We started off at a temple first, and so we went into one of the temples of, I can't remember which temple it was, but it was one of the temples, and I, like, you can see in the pictures, I'm just like I had my glasses on because the sun was like really irritating my eyes, or I had like light sensitivity. Like, it was crazy. Like, I had sunglasses on the entire time, and I was just kind of like like trying to breathe. My stomach was rumbling, but I did feel a lot better. Like I no longer had like a temperature, which was what really was making me not be able to do anything. Actually, it was all of it, to be honest, but like I had to poop, but luckily there was bathrooms there, so I was like, I had to go to the bathroom. So so luckily I brought my own wipes. I didn't like want to use the bathrooms their toilet paper. I had brought my own wipes, and so I didn't need toilet paper. So when I went to the bathroom, this like Egyptian lady was sitting out front, and she tried to hand me, and they did this all the time, she tried to hand me toilet paper, and I told her I didn't need it, like I'm good. And so she was like, oh, okay, like whatever. So I went into the bathroom, and then when I came out, she was like talking to me in Arabic and was like, basically like, I need to pay her, like, I need to pay me. And I was like, pay you for what? And she was like, you have to pay me. And I was like, for what though? And she's like, to use the bathroom. I'm like, I have to pay you to use the bathroom? Seriously? And I was like super irritated because I did not feel good. Like I just did not feel good at all. And so I had like kind of an attitude. I was like, I have to pay you to go to the bathroom? What do I have to pay you? How much is it? And she said, whatever you want. And I'm like, whatever I want? Like what? If it's whatever I want, I don't have to pay you anything. No, you have to pay something. So I just went into my purse and pulled out whatever came out, and it was like 3/4. So I was irritated. So I'm walking out the bathroom, and I guess Blake peeped that I was irritated, and he was like, what's wrong? And I was like, nothing. And he was like, no, like, what's the matter? And I was like, nothing. And he's like, Pierre, I know something's wrong, like what's wrong, whatever. And so I was like, nothing. She just like made me pay her to use the bathroom. And so Blake was like, is that something we like have to do? And he said it to our tour guide. And he was like, what? No, it's like, it's optional. You can optionally pay to go to the bathroom. Like it's like tipping. And Blake was like, what? Like I was like, what? And she was like, I was like, no, she told me I had to pay. He was like, no, you don't have to pay. Like, I mean, she gave you toilet paper. So that was like a service. Like, like giving me toilet paper is a service. Like, okay. She's like, that's a service. So like, you know, you tip her. And I was like, she didn't give me toilet paper though. Like she offered it to me, but I didn't take it because I have my own like wipes. Like I don't need toilet paper. He was like, oh, well then you shouldn't have given her money. So I was like, all right, I'm going back. I want my money back. And Blake's like, what? And then I'm like, no, I'm serious. I don't like that. Like you're gypping me. And I was irritated because I still did not feel well. So I mean, I probably would have did that like if I wasn't irritated, but being sick didn't make it any better. And so I was like, no, like I want to go back and get my money back. I don't like that. Because honestly, like just a back story, the entire time we were in Egypt, like because they were going through a revolution, a lot of the people were really poor. And so they were like overly asking for, like if you were a tourist, they overly asked for tips. So like if they open your door, they're like, oh, tip, 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 tip. So by that time, like I was already irritated by being asked for like to tip. And because I was sick, it like further irritated me. Like, no, you're not about to like jip me. Like if I want to tip, I'm gonna tip you. Like otherwise I'm not freaking tipping you. Like what the hell? So we went back to her and I told her, like, tell her I want my money back. So the guy like went off on her, like, oh, like why did you know, tell her? Did you help her? And she's like, what? Like did you the guy's like talking to her in Arabic and going off or whatever. And her husband, I think, comes out of nowhere and he's telling him like you know, she didn't offer a service, so she didn't have to pay. So the woman gave me back mine 3/4 and I walked away, and I was really irritated about that, but whatever. So then after that, we went to the Pyramids of Giza. I was still feeling kind of like weird or whatever. We went, mind you, the Pyramid of Giza is like, to get inside, it's like a hole. So you have to go down this hole, it's like a ladder, and you have to go down this really dark, narrow hole. And because I couldn't breathe that well, because I was still sick, and because it was hot as I don't know what, I was like feeling very, very claustrophobic going down that hole. But I was like, I'm gonna do it. Like it's our last day here. I'm gonna make the best of it. So we went down the hole, and I like halfway there, like there was like a section where you stop, and then you go down another section of ladder to go further down, deeper into the pyramid. So I was like, okay, like I'm going to I'm gonna pause here for a minute and like recuperate myself because I feel really sick right now. Like I feel like I'm about to throw up. And Blake's like, all right. So we were chilling there, and like it was crazy because the guy that was the guy who was like letting us go into the pyramid, he didn't have an arm. Like his arm was like cut, like he had no arm, and he didn't speak a lick of English. And this is not our tour guide, by the way. It was like some random like guy who I guess like helped you or watched you while you went into the pyramid. So there's like this thing basically where like people come to Egypt to pray in the pyramid because they think it has like magnetic like powers or whatever powers that they think it has. So people come to pray, but you gotta pay like a lot of money to like be able to do that, because it's a Muslim country. You have to pay like, I don't know, like 2,000 American dollars to be able to like pray in the pyramid or whatever you need to do in the pyramid. And so I guess the guy thought I was praying, and he was like, you gotta get up, like you gotta go. And I was like, I don't feel well, like I'm taking a break, like what the heck. And the guy was like, no, gotta go, like trying to get us to go. And I'm like, yo, I'm not going anywhere. You're gonna have to just chill the fuck out. Like, sorry, you're gonna have to chill out. And so I sat there. So when I was ready to go, I went down to the pyramid, and then there was nothing really in there. And I remember like I like wrote my name in the sand, like, oh, like Pierre was here kind of thing. And the guy like wiped over it, like when we walked away, the guy like walked over it. I'm like guessing he thought I was doing some type of ritual or something, because I'm like, why are you gonna wipe over my name? Whatever. It was like in the sand. It wasn't like wasn't like graffiti or anything. So I was just like, this guy's weird. So whatever, we went back up, and as we went back up, the guy like told his manager, I guess, like that we were praying in the temple. And the guy told our tour guide like we have to pay like all this money to like basically pray in the temple, since we prayed in the temple. And we're like, we didn't pray in the temple, like she's sick and she needed to breathe, like she needed a minute, she wasn't feeling good and she was sick, she needed to breathe. And so luckily we were able to get out of that. But yeah. And then on the way home, like the next day, I was still feeling a little bit sick, like my stomach rumbling and like having to go to the bathroom and stuff. I was scared because that was a really long flight, and I was really worried about the flight. And luckily, I think I only went to the bathroom once while I was on the flight. But yeah, the rest of the flight was like smooth sailing. I was pretty much back to being myself by the time I got home. And it was crazy because Blake actually had like some minor like sickness after we got back, where he was going to the bathroom like every like hour or whatever for like his lasted for like 3 days. His lasted for like 3 days too, but it was like he wasn't sick, he just had to go to the bathroom. So yeah, ever since then, like I just like I'm so scared about drinking and eating the wrong things, because even like when we went to Italy this year for my birthday, like I had a salad and it must have been washed with Italian water and not mineral water, because that night I was pooping water and I did not feel good. My stomach was hurting. I felt crazy. I was like, oh my God, not this again, because I swore never again. I am not ever getting sick on a trip again. And I was like, all right, no more salad for me, no more like caprese for me. Like I'm not doing it. So then like it was like right before we were about to head to Florence too. So like by the time I got to Florence, I was so out of it. I felt so like tired and sick. So yeah, I don't know, because like I've been out of the country before that and I never had problems with getting sick overseas, but like now I know to be very wary about it, because I was so sick. I was literally like, I thought I was dying. Like I was throwing up, I had a temperature, I had the shakes, I had the chills. And it's in a foreign country, and like I couldn't eat. I was starving myself. I could barely drink. I only was able to drink like hot fluids because my throat was like swelled up. I was like, I'm dying, I'm gonna die in Egypt, I'm dying, like oh my God. So it was crazy. Okay, so this is my hair. Don't mind the white, it will dry clear. So yeah, this is my hairdo. My wash and go. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this storytime style. A reminder, if you'd like to send me your stories for me to read and to give advice to or react to, please send them to my email, HairByPierre@yahoo.com. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.